Everyone, come on in as we get started, as we extend this Ready to Love season, reviewing, recap, and commentary and commenting on these interviews with the different cast members that are being done by Little Black Book and Crystal XO. And as we've become to call them, or y'all have affectionately started calling them, the Cliff Notes, because some of these interviews be long, and I know we all ain't got time to listen to 3 hours, and the Justice video was 3 hours, and I just watched Looney's video. It was quite long, but this one I got through the majority of it because I was folding some clothes and washing some towels and doing some dishes, and that's about as long as my housework took, so I was able to listen to most of the interview. And like I told you, I love watching these interviews because I also want to start off saying a good edit or bad edit. What did I think the person got? And I'm going to tell you that Looney got a good edit. I'm going to go with good edit for Looney because, the name says it all. First of all, let's just say this. Looney's real name is, I think, Lenithia or something like that. Lenithra, something like that. It almost reminds me of a take on Nene from the Real Housewives of Atlanta's name. So she tells the story that her friends labeled her Looney. And I was like, how do you get from Looney from Lenithria? But it turns out they called her Looney because she has a little looniness to her. She has a little looniness to her. And we find out that she's a Gemini. So I was like, oh, some of this is starting to make a little bit. I don't want to get the Geminis mad out here at me because I know the Geminis can get mad. I don't want to get mad at you guys. But some of the stuff is true. Some of the things is true. And some Geminis, y'all have these two twins going on. And depending on who shows up at a particular time, depends on how things are going to go. If the nice twin shows up, things are fun. We have a good time. Everything is cool. But then if that other twin, that mad little evil twin shows up, stuff goes left. And so it really makes me understand with Looney and all the confusion that was around. Let me speak for myself. Confusion that was around. Why the heck is Looney attracted to Justin? I didn't get it because the Looney I was first talking to or looking at on the screen was this other Looney. Okay, I knew Looney liked to go out. I knew Looney was wild. If you remember, one of the things I said was that when LJ was trying to date Looney, I was like, LJ ain't gonna be able to keep it with Looney. Looney is wild. Looney is wild, and I was thinking LJ was a nice guy. I'm not saying he's not nice, but I thought he was more of a clean-cut guy, right? Come to find out, Looney might need to watch out for LJ. Come to find out, LJ had more than enough confidence and whatever else you want to call it, streets knowledge, because that's what I said LJ was. He was for the streets still. He had enough streets skills to deal with a Looney. And so that's when I said, oh, I was wrong, because I thought LJ was going to be outmatched by Looney. And come to find out, oh no, he could handle a Looney. He could handle a Looney if he wanted to. So that was my first impression of Looney. I thought that Looney shouldn't have been with Justice, because you remember at the beginning of the season, I didn't like Justice. I thought he was mean, he's combative, he's all these kind of things. But after this last interview that I saw with Little Black Book, I'm telling you, it gave me such a better understanding of Justice. Okay, I still don't think he's ready to love, but it gave me quite a bit better understanding of Justice. And so now when I say that I don't think Looney and Justice are a good couple. I'm still saying the same thing I was saying before, that they aren't a good couple, but now I'm saying it for different reasons, and I feel like I have a lot more data to really back up why they were such a horrible match. Before, I just didn't like them as a match because I liked Looney, and I thought that that Justice was a flake. He was all these types of things, and I just thought, you know what? She could do better than him. She doesn't need to be with him, all these other kind of things. But now that I've seen the interview with Looney, I absolutely see how it came to be that Looney was drawn to Justice. And I actually start to see how everything went south. Looney did a lot of masking on this interview. There was a lot of times when I believe she was trying to save face. I believe that she was trying to present this image that Justice was chasing her and that he sort of love bombed her. Sort of what I said, what Randall did to Jamala, that Jamala was love bombed by Randall. Looney tried to say she was love bombed by Justice, but that's not love bombing. Just because someone's talking to you on the phone is not love bombing. Randall love bombed Jamala. Randall was telling Jamala he loved her. Okay, he was in love with her. He love bombed her. All Justice was doing to Looney was talking on the phone, and Looney took that as love bombing her because Justice wasn't talking to anyone else on the phone, because we know Justice wasn't pursuing women. So she looked at it and said, because he talks to me on the phone every single day, and because he's telling me he wants to get to know me, that's love bombing. That's not the same. That's not love bombing. Just because someone's talking to you on the phone or wanting to get to know you, that's not love bombing, because she never really did tell any real details. Oh, how was it love bombing? What was he saying? What type of promises was he making you? And I don't think he was really doing any extent of that. And the other thing I want to sort of clear up, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong on this. One of the things that I know we've been talked about is Justice wants women to chase him. I don't believe this anymore, because as I look back, and tell me if I missed something, people, because, I don't remember everything. I got senior moments here. I don't remember a Justice asking women to chase him, to call him, to run after him, to pursue him. What I do remember Justice saying is, I'm not going to pursue you like that, and you need to be patient on my time. And that's completely different. That's the nuance I understand about Justice now, because what I told you in that video is Justice needs a long runway. And this process of ready to love is a sped up process. This did not jive with who Justice is. Justice wants 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour conversations to be able to talk. And he wants you to listen. And that doesn't go well with the ready to love format, where you have to speed it up and be fast. So what Justice was saying throughout the season was, I'm not rushing like that. You're not going to rush me. I'm not going to take out a bunch of women and pay a bunch of money for no chicken dinners, because that's not how I work. I need a long runway, and that's what I do. And I think that is different from women saying, I want women to chase me. I think women came to that conclusion because they said, well, if he's not coming to us and he's not pursuing us, then he must want us to chase him. But I've never really seen Justice require women to chase him. I actually never seen that. What he does is he wants you to sit over there in the corner and he wants you to wait on him until he's good and ready to do something, which is completely different. It reminds me of my house sometimes when I want my husband to do something in the house, like a honey-do list. Y'all know what a honey-do list are. And I say, baby, can you hang this picture? Can you put this picture up? And my husband will say, okay, yeah, I'll hang it up. But my husband doesn't move. He's still on the couch. He's still watching TV. He's doing whatever. I've learned over the years, don't push him. Because once I push him, I'm called a nag, okay? So I wait. And then, it doesn't happen. And the next day, I'm like, okay, are you going to put the picture up? I told you I was going to put the picture up. Well, married women know what I'm talking about. And so then finally, me, as my husband said, you're impatient. So what I do is I go get me a step ladder and I start putting up the picture. And he says, what are you doing? I said, I'm putting up the picture because, I asked you to put the picture up. You didn't want to put the picture up. I don't want to be a nag. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. He goes, see, that's the problem. This is what my husband, see, that's the problem. You don't know how to be patient and you don't know how to wait on me to do something for you. That's what my husband would tell me. So what my husband is saying is he wants to do it in his time, in his own pace, but he also doesn't want me to do it. It's one of the most frustrating dynamics, I'm telling you, of being with a man, because I'm telling you, it's just not my problem. I used to think it was just my problem. It is a problem with men and women all across the world. I didn't even say in the United States. All across the world, women have to balance out being impatient, or this is what they label as impatient, or doing too much and not willing to wait on the man to do what he wants to do in his own time. It's frustrating, y'all. But anyway, this more reminds me of what Justice is doing. What Justice is saying is, I never said that I won't pursue you or I won't talk to you, but I'm going to do it in my own time. But that's not the same as he wants you to chase him. Just like my husband never said he wouldn't put up the picture. So he's not asking me to put up the picture, but he's asking to do it at a pace that is more conducive to his speed. Y'all, it is a dilemma. It is a dilemma up here in this household on a regular basis. Let me tell you. And as my husband always says, don't I always do it? This my husband always says, I don't know what you're worried about. Don't I always do it? And I will always have to say, you know what? You are right. Eventually, you absolutely always do it. And so he says, so there, if you know that eventually I'll always do it, go sit down. That's what he'll tell me. Go sit down. And that's what Justice was telling these women. Go sit down. And what some of the women probably were thinking was, oh, he wants me to chase him. Actually, I don't think he did that. But ladies out there, some of you guys have better memories than me. Please remind me if he used a lot of language that said, I want you to chase me. He definitely said that he's a prize. He said different things like that. But I never remember him requiring women to pursue him really, really, really heavily. I just think I remember him more saying, you need to be patient and wait on me and wait on my pace and the way I want to do things, and go sit down over there and wait for me. And this is Ready to Love. We only got I don't even know how long they film this, a couple of weeks, a month or something. Like, we only got a couple of months to even film this. We ain't got time to be waiting on you, Justice. You need to make a move. And that sounds like me and my husband. I ain't got time for you to be putting up this picture. Please put up the picture in a more appropriate time. But anyway, that's what I understand about Justice more. So now, I don't want to, if you want to know more about my thoughts on Justice, go back and watch my video. But now I need to bring that context in, because now I need to bring that in to who I know Looney is. And I want to tell you why this was such a horrible match. Before I bring in Looney, in addition to that, we know that one of Justice's prime way he operates with women is to mirror women. Those are his words, y'all, are not mine, so I'm not going to change them. He likes to give back what he gets. So whatever energy you give, he's going to give. It doesn't matter if your energy is bad, good, ugly, nice. He going to return it. This is what he does. A return to sender. Anything that drops on his doorstep, he writes on it, return to sender, and he sends it right back to you. So now we have Looney, who I'm telling you is a Gemini. She's got two parts of her. And one of the things that Looney does admit is that these two parts of her have caused problems in relationships over and over and over again. Now, if you guys know my videos, I talk about these stages of dating, and the stages of dating where women have different, run into difficulties in different stages. Some women have problems with attracting men. Some women have problems staying in a relationship with men and getting along in the relationship. So there's all these different stages. Looney has made it quite clear, and I believe her, that she has no problem attracting men. Looney is pretty. She's got a nice body. She's got a nice look. She's got a nice personality when you meet her. She's bubbly. She's outgoing. All these things, which is why I think a lot of us like Looney on the show. But then what Looney would say is once she's in relationships, things would go bad. And what she would says is she's a very emotional person. She says that she is an empath and that in the past, her emotions have gotten out of control in relationships and they have damaged relationships, and then it breaks the relationship up. But what she says is men really like her. So oftentimes those men will try to come back. So here's Looney. She has what it takes to attract men. Men love it, looks good. But once they're in their relationship, probably that other Gemini comes out. That other twin comes out, and that's the twin that people like, oh, who the heck is this? This is not the Looney I like. And then it causes disruption because at one time she said she didn't really know how to control that other Gemini. Oh, maybe that's Lenithia. Maybe she's Looney and Lenithia. I don't know which one's the good one and the bad one. Maybe Looney's the good Looney, and then Lenithra is going to be the second Gemini. That's what we're going to say it. So Looney meets the man. This is who meets the man. Looney meets the man. Looney draws in the man. Looney says she can sing. She's a comedian. She's funny. She's talking about all her talents. She's entertained. She raps. She writes. Looney draws the man in. Looney is the bait. Once the bait is attracted, the man, then Lenithia starts to show up every once in a while. And the man is like, who the heck is this friend you brought here to this party? We don't like Lenithia. We like Looney. We don't like Lenithia. So Lenithia comes in and she blows everything up. And Looney can't control Lenithia. Okay, Looney's the fun girl. Looney's the nice girl, the fun girl. Lenithia is the one that comes in and probably gets out of control, very emotional, pops off, says things, and then Lenithia runs the men off. But the men kept thinking, but I like Looney. I really like Looney. So she keeps talking about how all these men want to double dip and come back with her all the time because what they really want is they really do want to be with Looney. They just don't like Lenithia. That's who they don't like. But you know what? They're a package deal. And so eventually that ends up ruining her relationships. So part of her dilemma is going to be out here in the world is how does she control Lenithia? Because Lenithia is the one ruining everything for Looney. She really is. So let's get into this. So now that we know that Justice mirrors whoever shows up, are y'all catching up with me? Now that we know Justice mirrors, when Looney shows up, Justice mirrors Looney. And you know what? Looney's fun, outgoing. And that's what Looney said. Looney said they would talk on the phone every single day. And actually, you know what? She admitted that Justice was doing most of the talking. I knew that. If Justice is talking to you on the phone, he's doing 70% of the talking, 80% of the talking. You're doing 20% of the listening. So when she's on the phone with Justice, Looney is going to have to do 80% of the listening because Justice is only going to let you get in a word in every once in a while. And Looney said Justice was so funny. He make her laugh. He would keep her laughing. They had such a good time. And I bet you Justice loved that because now Justice can entertain because Justice likes to entertain. It's what he does for a living. He can come in and probably work a crowd. He said he did it when he was a ball player. He did it for the team. And in fact, he was so good at entertaining that he started a whole company around setting up entertainment. So if Justice wants to entertain you, best be known, he knows how to entertain you. So Justice was very good at entertaining Looney. Okay, because he liked Looney. So he entertained her. They hung out. He called her every single day. They talked on the phone. And even Looney said she didn't have to track Justice down on the phone. Justice, in fact, was calling Looney all the time. And Justice at one time told Looney, you need to call me more. And so Looney started to feel special because all the other ladies were telling this scenario of how Justice doesn't call them at all, doesn't even pursue them or anything. So Looney starts to feel special because Justice is calling her, wanting to speak with her, and they're hanging out. Good. Everything is going well. Everything is going really well for them. And Looney is having a good time, and so is Justice. Now, one of the things Looney also told us about herself, which goes in line with the Looney and Lenithria personality, is that she's a jack of all trades and she bounces around a lot. I believe it because she seems to have a lot of bouncing around in her career. more recently. She said she was in telecommunications for a lot of years. And she actually told us right now she's in flight attendant school, and she got that idea from a Brandy, because before she was a realtor, and she says she still does real estate. You know, she's got a house going up for listing now. But she also is getting into a flight attendant. She's in flight attendant school now because Brandy kind of brought her on to that. And so she talks about how she's done a lot of different things. So now we get that Looney. I think Looney's only 35 years old. So she talks about she's a songwriter, she's a songwriter, she's a singer, she's a rapper, she's an entertainer. She's been in telecommunications, she's been in real estate. Now she's going to flight attendant school. Looney has had 9 lives, but this goes in line, I'm telling you, with what I realized about Looney. And she says she's a jack of all trades. She's a chameleon. That's also what I think about Looney. I think that she has so many different facets of her personality that she can change and adapt to different circumstances. That's probably also why men are attracted to her, because Looney has the ability to adjust depending on her environment. But the problem that Looney is that eventually Lanithia shows up. And once Lanithia shows up, we don't know how people are going to react to her. Now, when Lanithia showed up between her relationship with Justice, Justin didn't like it. And you know what Justice started doing? He started mirroring Lanithia. And we know that's a bad thing, because Lanithia does not need to be mirrored. Looney is trying to get rid of Lanithia, let alone have somebody mirror her. I think Looney, when Looney said that she's an empath, I think part of the reason why Looney was attracted to Justice is because she felt the confusion in Justice's life, just like it's in her own life. There's a level of confusion in Looney's life. This sort of randomness and all around, even listening to her, sometimes it was hard to listen to her. In a lot of ways, they started to actually look like the same people. And let me tell you, confusion attracts such confusion, and confusion doesn't need to be with confusion. These two really shouldn't have been together, because they actually need a stabilizing force in their life. They can't become with another confusing person. The last person Looney needs to be with is Justice, because Justice is confusion. And the last person Justice needs to be with is Looney, because Looney has this level of confusion. Looney is out here picking her preference and not her priority. Her preference is a Justice because he's fun, he's outgoing, and it appeals to the Looney side, which is, fun and outgoing, and she likes that. But what she actually needs in her life is someone stabilized. I actually didn't know that Looney was married. Looney had been married for 5 years, and actually I didn't even know Looney had a son. So Looney's a mother, has a child, and she's been married before for 5 years. Looney needs a stabilizing force in her life so that when Lanithia shows up and creates disruption, her stabilizing force in her life, which is her man, can take over and calm down that situation. She can't be with a man that when Lanithia shows up, that man throws gasoline on the fire or mirrors her, which is Justice. He's mirroring a bad part of Looney. She doesn't need that. She needs a guy like this. But you know why she just probably doesn't want that guy? Because that guy is boring. That guy is boring, or he may not be as sexy. One thing Lanithia talked about with LJ was that when she first saw LJ, he isn't her physical type. She wasn't physically attracted to LJ, but she came to be attracted to LJ for his personality, his swag, all this kind of stuff. Because that's what Looney likes. Looney likes his swag, this outgoing guy, this funny guy. And she saw that in Looney, because like I said, she saw that in LJ. Like I tell you, because LJ got some streets part of him, and Looney liked that fun, that twerking side, all that. But then she wasn't necessarily attracted to LJ. But let me tell you, LJ was probably a better match for Looney, because when Lanithia would show up with Looney, LJ might have been able to calm Lanithia down, because he wouldn't have mirrored Lanithia. So LJ could have been fun when Looney was there. LJ could match Looney's hype. They probably could have had fun, going to the club, dancing, doing wild stuff. But then when Lanithia came in, LJ might have had enough groundedness, which I think he did, that he might have been able to ground Lanithia. And so what Looney's out here doing is she is getting attracted to men based on her preference. Her preference is absolutely someone like a Justice, but that shouldn't be her priority. Her priority should be to meet a man that she can work with, knowing who she is. She's got to be really acknowledged that she's got some loony side to her, some craziness, Lanithia side, and she needs to start picking a man who can calm that part of her down. And that man may not always come in the same physical package as the guy she likes to go and have fun with. She needs to stop dating men for looks and the fun side, and letting Looney pick the guy. She needs to start picking a guy that can get along with Lanithia, because Lanithia, whoever that is, that's the one ruining relationships. Because although she can tamper Lanithia down a little bit, she ain't gonna get rid of her. She's not gonna get rid of her. So she needs to pick a man who can handle Lanithia. Looney is too busy picking men that Looney wants, the fun Looney. She needs to pick a man that can handle Lanithia and calm Lanithia down, because Justice can't handle Lanithia. Because when Lanithia shows up, Justice is going to mirror Lanithia, and that ain't going to end well. That's not going to end well at all. You know, the only reason I kept listening to this interview because I really wanted to find out what happened between the two. Because remember that scene at the reunion where she runs off crying, and we're like, dang, how did it get so much of that? Looney was crying over Justice. Looney got really caught up with Justice. She tried to say she didn't get caught up, that he was doing the chasing of her. She got caught up. She got seriously caught up with Justice, because when Justice was calling her every day, she really looked at that as a big sign that he was really interested in her, because he wasn't doing it to anyone. And I think there was a time when because of all the other women, he was absolutely most interested in Looney. He even admits that he was. But here is where it went bad, because this is what I want to hear. Looney tells the story that where it went really bad was that she was still talking to Justice. They were still talking. They were still involved in everything. And there came a time when they were watching some of the show back, and the scene played from the white party where Looney was twerking all over LJ, and Justice didn't like it. Justice didn't like the twerking. He didn't like the fact that she was twerking all over LJ. He didn't like that side of Looney. I don't think Justice likes that side. Remember, Justice has been a father since 15. Justice is from the ball playing world. Justice is from the club world. Do you know how many thoughts Justice has come along with? Justice is trigger happy on a lot of different things. One is he's triggered over thoughts. And the second thing is he's triggered over combative women. Okay, because he's seen a lot of thoughts in his day. And let me tell you, when you start to get a man like Justice, 42, and I tell this even about men who are older, but Justice is hitting this mark, I think, even sooner. They've had so many women, so many sexual encounters with women, that doesn't really mean a lot to them anymore, because they've had a lot of women. So that isn't their driving force. What happens is they start to become trying to avoid those women as much as possible, because they've seen so many of them in the club, in the ball playing world, the groupies and the thoughts. So when he saw a Looney twerking and acting wild all over LJ, he didn't like it. Because remember, Justice was the one commenting on Dominica when she was wild at the beach party. He commented on even Brandy when Brandy was on Mike. Justice wasn't really into that. He would make fun of the women. He would act like he was laughing, but in a lot of ways he was making fun of them. Hey girl, get it girl, get it girl, because he's seen a lot of it. So this is the first part. He didn't like that about a Looney. And one thing we have heard from Justice is Justice says he observes. And what he does when he observes, he gives a strike. So listen to that. He gave Looney a strike when he saw that she was twerking all over LJ at the white party, because I think Justice, I don't know if he had left that party early or something, but anyway, he didn't like that. The other thing that LJ said that he observed, the other thing that Justice observed was when Justice got voted off. If you remember, after Justice got voted off, and remember, this is the time when Looney and Justice are thick as thieves. They talking every day, everything. Soon as he got voted off, she said she went out on a date with LJ, because what she realized was she needed to stay on the show. So she reconnected with LJ, and that also made Justice upset. Okay, he got jealous, upset, or whatever else the case may be. He didn't like that. So in Justice's eyes, that became a strike too, because what he's doing, remember, Justice is trigger happy. Okay, in and of itself, I don't see anything wrong with what Looney was doing. She was playing the game. But if you remember, Justice is trigger happy, and all these men on this show are trigger happy. Remember Mike? He off one kiss. He don't want that. None of these men want to see any impropriety of women with other men, because for some reason when they see it, they're completely turned off. So now you have, soon as Justice is gone, you've got Looney going out on a date with LJ and trying to amp up that little connection or whatever. Justice didn't like that either. Then there comes a time when they go to Justice's club. I guess it's the Hard Rock. They get in free. I told you the people like Justice because they can get in these Miami clubs free. I know it. But anyway, they can get in free. And when they came to the club, or it was Kayla's birthday party or some story, I don't know, whatever. When she gets to walk into the club, it just so happens that LJ is pulling up at the club at the same time, and they end up walking into Justice's club together. And the optics of it, Justice didn't like that either. So now you go out with this man, you're twerking on this man, and now you're showing up with this man to my club. And let me tell you, after that, Justice said, I'm not dealing with you no more. I don't want to be your friend. And if you remember on the reunion, what Justice said was, I did cut it off because I didn't want to hurt her. I remember him saying this. I cut it off because I didn't want to hurt her. And what Justice was saying was, right now, he's feeling like she trying to play him. She twerking on this man. She going out with this man. Now she walking in this club with this man. She trying to make me look like a fool with this man all the time. And what he said is, I mirror people. That's what I do. So what he said was, I can mirror her right now. You know how many women I can get right now to come over here and hang all over me? You know how many women I could get to make her feel the way he's feeling right now? He said, I could put her 2 feet under with a snap of my finger. And what he said was, I don't want to do that to her, because I could mirror her right now. Because that's what Justice does. When you do it to him, he does it to you. And what he said was, it's best that I don't talk to her, because if I keep talking to her and dealing with her, the way she's moving out here, how Lanithia is moving, Looney's moving, I can really hurt her. Because if I start playing this game with her, I'm going to play it a bigger, a badder, this is what she's going to play it. And in the end, I'm going to win. That is a Justice. Justice tells you, whatever you do, I can do it better. And so what he decided to do with Looney, because I think he did like Looney, is I'm going to let you go. I'm going to cut you off. Because if I don't cut you off now and I get into this ring with you, it ain't going to end pretty. But by cutting her off and telling her he didn't want to be friends with her, he already hurt her. So that is why she was crying at the reunion, because telling her he didn't want to be her friend hurt her feelings, because she felt like, dang, even if we're not going to be together romantically or as a couple, you don't even want to be my friend. No, he don't want to be your friend, because otherwise he's going to have to start mirroring you. And if he mirrors you, it's going to end poorly, Looney. Poorly. But I do think there is a part of me that thinks that Justice did like Looney. I don't think he was love bombing her. I think he liked her out of most of the women that were there, but that's not necessarily saying all that much. I'm not sure that Looney would ever be able to be with a Justice. I don't think it's a good match, because I don't think that they actually are a good match, because they both actually need the same person. They need someone who is going to calm the relationship down. They need someone who's more even-keeled, because an even-keeled woman won't trigger Justice, Because remember, Justice mirrors. That's what he says. He mirrors. So he needs actually a more even-keeled woman so that that mirroring part of him don't keep coming out. And Looney needs a more even-keeled man, because when Lanithia shows up, she can't be dealing. Fire and fire don't go together. You know how you have a spicy food and you say, well, I want some rice with it, but you shouldn't order no spicy rice with your spicy jerk chicken. Your mouth going to be on fire. That is Looney and Justice together. Jerk chicken and spicy rice. It's too much fire. You need to bring up there some rice and peas or something to tamper down the jerk chicken flavor for these two. It's too much spice going on. And the thing about it is they're both, Looney was attracted to Justice because it appealed to her fun side, but she needs to stop dating men on who Looney wants. Looney wants to go out and have a good time and fun and twerk. And when Lanithia shows up, she going to ruin it. She's going to ruin it. So, you know what? Maybe you may have to be bored in a relationship just a little bit just to keep peace. So, Looney, I hope Looney starts dating differently. I hope she continues to try to keep a Lanithia on the chain. But she is a Gemini. She is emotional. She is an empath, which means there's going to be these moments. There's going to be a lot of these moments where she's not going to be able to hold it in, even if she's trying her best. So, she needs to pick a partner who's going to be best for her in those moments so that she can have some more longevity in her relationships and maybe get to where she really wants to be, wherever that is, in maybe a long lasting relationship. But one funny story before I leave. Okay, I know I just saw that Kayla also did an interview with Little Black Book. I'm going to watch that one today and hopefully do that video tomorrow. So definitely tune in. But Looney told a funny story. It wasn't funny. It's actually a sad story. I'm going to say that because it was funny, sad. That one time they went to a club. They went to his club, Justice's club. And Looney got mad at Kayla because they went to the club and everybody knew that Justice was Looney's connection. And what she said was Kayla was dancing all over Justice. I tell you, Kayla can't get out this side chick role. I don't know what is going on with Kayla. I already know that I told you she's competitive and she loves this side chick role. She loves to compete with women. She loves to try to steal men from other women. Let me tell you, that's a marker of a side chick. But I'm going to watch her interview and see. But Looney said she was mad at Kayla. Even though Looney and Justice were having their problems at that time, she said they were having their problems. What she was saying was she was still mad that Kayla was twerking all over him. I would be too, because I don't know. That's the girl code. My girlfriend better not even be going out with no man I used to go out with. That's ridiculous. But that's a Kayla move. That is a signature move that Kayla was twerking all over a Justice. So I'm going to watch Kayla's interview and probably come back with a video tomorrow. So y'all definitely need to tune in. But I want to see how Kayla thinks, because what I've seen about Kayla, she does a lot of side chick moves. So now we know that she ain't just rubbing up on Randall, Mike. Who else was she rubbing up on? Kissing Zoe. Now we know she's twerking all over Justice, even though she knew that they had a connection. This girl, where Kayla's daddy at? Come get your daughter. This is funny. But anyway, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Tune in. Okay, bye.